Right, so as a change of pace, I've been redoing my tutorial videos, and for a little break I decided I'm going to do a like and dislike of the Monolith patch. We're coming up to a week now of having the Monolith patch, so I thought it'd be a good idea to do a little review and see if you guys agree with me. Well, I'm going to start off with the likes because it's always good to start off with the positives, and that is that the map is very, very nice. I do like the aesthetics of it. They've said that it's in alpha, so there's going to be a lot more added to it, which in my eyes is really good already because, I mean, look at it. It looks like it's just on par with Legacy as far as I'm concerned. Looks really nice, it's clean. There's a few little texture errors, but, well, to be honest, you don't really notice them that much unless you go look for them. The lanes are really nice and easy to move around in. It's a lot smaller than Legacy, and you can tell, because you can get from the left lane to the mid lane in about, what, 10 seconds, if that, when you're walking. And if you get the blue buff as well from the jungle in the river, you get a lot faster, so you're going to be backwards and forwards in no time. I mean, you can see I've already got from left lane now to nearly in the mid lane, and it's been about 10 seconds. So that's much easier to gank, much easier to roam, and a lot easier overall, just for trying to get back to your lane. The other thing I like about the new map is the fact that you are pretty much forced to ward. Take mid lane for example, there's two ways you can come into mid lane, as well as the two other back ways that are slightly further into the jungle through the fog walls. And if you don't ward up and you don't see the enemy coming, you're going to have a bad time. On top of that, if they get the invisibility buff and you don't get stealth wards around your area, if the enemy jungler has CC such as Chimera with his ultimate and his right click, you are pretty much guaranteed either be forced to back or you're going to be dead. One of the two, depending on what stage of the game it's in. And that's not good for you. And I'm just going to talk very quickly about the jungle. I really like the fog walls. It adds a hint of menace. It makes it feel a lot like Dark Souls in the sense of if you walk through there, you might die. And on top of that, there's the amber links, which mean compared to the harvesters, you're not looking at the clock. You're not constantly wondering, oh, when's my harvester going to be full? Now it's all really down to you. It's down to your jungler and how fast they're clearing their camps and forcing it to be full, or the time coming out and then it just giving it to you anyway. I really like the amber links. It just changes the pace of the game. There's no more needing a key on 2 people or 3 people to make sure they stay up and going to empty them and all the rest of that crap that went with it. Don't get me wrong, the harvesters were nice, but this is a much, much more fluid way of playing the game. The next point I'm going to make is about towers. They've made them a lot less safe to be stood underneath, which is both good and bad, although I'm going to be talking about the bad later in the video. The good thing is, however, is now you're under a tower, you're not instantly, oh, look at me, I'm King Dick, turn around and start taunting them because of the fact that you got away. Yes, before you could tank it, but that was because the tank items were a lot more effective. In this at the minute, tank items are not so effective, so tower diving, you have to really know when to commit and when not to commit. I do like that they are armoured in the first few minutes of the game as well. It also means that if you're in the off lane, you have 2v1. They can't just push you and take your tower within like 5 minutes easy because of the fact that you can't kill the minion. Because obviously early game, your auto attacks don't really do anything at all. Now I'm going to move on to talking about the heroes and game speed. They've rebalanced pretty much every hero in the game. They feel a lot better. There's not as much tanking going on. There's not just a tank meta where you need like 3 people to kill the tank. Looking at you, Rampage. Although I'm not ignorant to the fact that Greystone is an absolute monster, as well as Chimera. Chimera's at the minute, his right click needs an immediate nerf because it's just beyond the joke, really. But getting back to the main point, all the heroes overall feel a lot better. There are some that obviously need a little bit of a buff, and some that need a little bit of a nerf, such as Chimera. However, compared to previous patches such as 0.28, where I was getting average game times of over an hour, this feels a lot better because I'm not spending anywhere near that amount of time just wandering around the map pushing lanes backwards and forwards. And I do feel that once a meta has been established, which is kind of happening now, it's slowly getting there. Once that's happened, people stop complaining, they'll start coming back and going, actually, yeah, this isn't as bad as what I originally thought, just have to get used to it. And really, for anybody who's played a MOBA before, this map looks way more familiar than the Legacy map. At least it does to me. And as an overall like that isn't really related to any of those points, I'm glad that bad positioning is now being punished properly. If you're out of position, a stealth hero can really chew you up and spit you out, especially if you're in anywhere of the jungle or the river or on the enemy side. If you're by yourself and you wander off out of position without any support or anything like that, you are going to die, at least if the enemy has any idea what they're doing. If not, you might live, who knows. Now moving on to the dislikes. I'm going to try and keep it similar to the old structure of meta towers, heroes and game speed. Really the dislikes are all kind of related, and I'm sure you'll understand why as soon as I've said them all. And the first one is you cannot tank in this meta at the minute. The armor really does nothing. You're basically building HP, and even then the crit meta's back. It's not as bad as it was, but the crit meta is definitely there. If the enemy has an ADC, he is 100% going to crit you down from 100 to 0 in under 10 seconds easily, unless you've got at least a couple of you to try and burst him down quickly. And to top that off, yes, they've made towers weaker, but late game, mid game and late game, they don't really feel anywhere near as much as a threat as they should really. As Greystone or Chimera, you can chase someone under the tower, kill them, walk back out and just pretend like nothing really happened as long as their teammates aren't chasing you. And even if they are chasing you, you can probably still live through that anyway, especially Greystone. Although, as I'm saying this, I'll understand, you probably understand this as well. If they buff or nerf any of these things, such as the towers being stronger and tanks being possible again with better stacking of armor, and also, you know, generally towers being more tanky, the game time's going to increase. So they've got to be really, really careful about how they're going to balance this. If they buff the towers, they're going to make tower diving harder, which is understandable, but at the same time, if they buff armor, it kind of balances it out because the tank should be taking the brunt of the attack really, while the ADC or the power really gets in there and starts to take down whoever you're trying to attack under the tower. And on top of this, I think crits overall really need a nerf, because anybody who takes damage with basic attacks is basically always getting crit chance, because it's just so powerful at the minute, and it's just kind of related to every other MOBA, because the RNG side of things makes the games a lot less fun for the people who aren't using it, if you understand what I mean. If you're playing an AD carry and you get a crit, you're finding it hilarious when you get like an 800 crit, whereas the person you're playing against just got from 100 to 0 in one shot out of nowhere, and you kind of sat there wondering why is that a thing. So if Epic really want to keep crits in the game, they're going to have to try and find a way to make it so that it's a bit more balanced, because I understand that it's random number generator, but at the same time it shouldn't be 100 to 0. You should be able to build tank at the same time. But I don't want to harp on too much about that, because it's more about numbers, and numbers aren't really that interesting to listen to. Although I will explain my reasoning for why crits need a nerf, and that is, if people are building crits over any other kind of card, passive or active, there's definitely something fundamentally wrong with that specific attribute, because you shouldn't be specifically choosing crit over all the other kind of cards that you can get in the game. That just kind of tells everybody who's playing it there's actually something a bit strong about it, because there's a lot of really nice actives in the game that should allow you to be versatile in your deck, but nobody wants to be because crits are powerful. So I hope that kind of makes you think about it a bit more like how I'm thinking about it, if you didn't already. I think it's about time to wrap this video up, so I'm just going to do a quick overview. I think that the map is really nice aesthetically to look at. All the rest of the game is really nice. However, the heroes need a bit of a buff and a nerf on some side of things. The tanks are a bit underwhelmed at the same time as the damage being a bit overpowering. I don't want the game time to go up that much because at the minute it feels quite nice and balanced. However, I do feel more like towers are a bit of a pushover at the minute. And really, you should be trying to encourage people who are on the losing side to fight under their towers, but at the minute the tower doesn't really do that much. All we can really do is hope that Epic has a good solution for this. I'm sure they're already working on it. They're getting the feedback from everybody that's playing. We just got to hope that the player base increases, they get better feedback, the game starts to pick up pace, and we get a really good product at the end of it. Anyway, if you liked this video, give it a like. If you disliked it, give it a dislike. If you really liked it, give me a subscribe. Hope to see you back for the next videos, or my tutorials, which I am currently working on.